What's up, everybody? Billy, the Panthers are 1-0.
Yeah,
A
1-0.
stressful 1-0. A very stressful 1-0.
A great 3 quarters played 1-0.
Yes. And that's, I mean, we've gotten kind of used to that under
Yeah.
the Ron Rivera era. But again, a win's a win. So I guess we're gonna roll with that, right? We can't complain too much. Things injury-wise did get scary right there at the end. I'd say that's safe to say.
Yes.
But y'all, welcome to the first Panther Source post-game show of the season. It is great to be back talking real football after a game for the post-game show. If you're new here, go ahead and like and follow us right here on Facebook so you get notified every time we're live discussing the Carolina Panthers. You're also watching us live on YouTube and that platform, so hit that subscribe button if you're doing that. And you can catch it in the podcast form on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, and Spotify if that's your kind of thing to catch the whole show, just while you're riding to work or something if you like that. So you can do all that. So like and follow us right here. Share this. Drop your comments and thoughts on the game as we're going through. We will be taking live calls today. I will be posting that number up when that segment comes up and we start taking those calls. I'll bring that up. But for now, Billy, as we were just talking about, we'll go ahead and hit some injuries first because at the end it started getting really scary there.
Yes.
Obviously, Greg Olsen was seen. He went out of the game, went to the locker room, and came back out in street clothes with a boot on and then crutches. Same foot as last year. Doesn't look good.
Yeah, I would say it's – and he was frustrated. I would say it's probably a re-injured foot.
Yeah.
I've actually broken my foot before, and 12 years later it still gives me problems, and I'm not running around on a football field.
Yeah.
So I would say that it's probably the same injury, and we're probably not going to see him for 8 weeks. Just looking at it from today's.
Yeah. If it's anything like last year's, of course, it's going to be it's definitely going to be an issue. I mean, he's in a boot right now and on crutches, so that's going to be a problem. Thankfully, we have Ian Thomas. We drafted him. He showed some flashes in the preseason, had a couple of catches today, and he's also good at blocking. Speaking of blocking, Darrell Williams went out with a knee injury, the same one that he rehabbed miraculously from and started this game. Everything was going good. This offensive line we had talked about, we felt comfortable with as long as they stayed this way, was looking good for Cam. Darrell Williams is gone now. Took that shot, nasty shot, as you wanted to point out.
Yeah. I mean, the player is on the ground on his hands and knees and drives his helmet into the side of a knee. He's not part of the play, and then he looks up and goes, "Oh, my bad." I think it was a little nasty, and I mean, he looked good. They looked good before that injury, so I guess the injury was good, except for a little nasty helmet to the knee. But Silatolu coming in is now a very sore spot.
I cannot believe that happened. I'm just still shocked that he was put in that game over anybody else.
Yes.
Because at this point, he's just a body. I mean, he's just a body in there, and we just traded for Corey Robinson, and Rivera had said, a couple days leading up to this game, I think it was Wednesday, that he had, gotten up to speed relatively quickly on the game plan and the, play calling. And Silatolu, man. I said it when we kind of knew it, but we were watching it with some friends and said it as soon as he was going in there. DeMarcus Lawrence against Amini Silatolu is a nightmare, and they had just cut this game to a one-score game. Carolina needed to sustain a drive to help burn some time at least, and that was not the ideal situation, and it showed. Cam got, I think, sacked twice on that drive. He was constantly running for his life the rest of the game. Hopefully this is something they can work Robinson back in this week at practice to prep for next week, because that's – oh, God, that's a nightmare, him at right tackle. But like I said before, felt like the offensive line overall before this point was doing a good job. Cam had time. They're still learning to gel some, feel like, with the new weapons. We talked about this during the offseason. I mean, we're excited he has weapons, but this isn't something that's just going to pop overnight.
Yeah.
I mean, it takes time.
Another injury or non-injury, or we don't know what it is yet, is Damiere Byrd.
Yes.
He stopped returning the ball after, I think, the second punt.
Mm-hmm.
He was seen on the stationary bike, but no update on why he wasn't returning and what the issue was.
Yep. And then, of course, the big scare it was Luke Kuechly. Like he kind of hyperextended his knee, and the way it was reacted originally looked pretty bad. You don't want to see Luke Kuechly grabbing his knee. That caliber player for our defense went to the sideline, got looked at, went under the got looked at, and comes back out and finished the game. Looked fine running around. So hopefully, Rivera will be able to explain some of that in the press conference. Got away with one there. Very happy with it. But let's talk a little bit. I'm going to hit some of y'all's stats real quick. I mean, not stats, comments. I see y'all piling in here on Facebook. Keep them coming. Nicholas Cade, how about them Panthers? 1-0, baby. Heather, what's the word on Greg Olsen? He's going to be out for a while. Carlton Cohen, anyone played right tackle before? I hope, if you have, you're better than Silatolu, I can promise.
I played guard. I might be able to move over.
I'll take anybody. I mean, anybody's going to do as good as he is. And also, while we're talking about Silatolu, only he can kick J.J. Jansen's snapped ball with his foot to botch a snap that would have put this game a lot more at ease on that after the missed extra point.
Yes.
Or we didn't even kick it, obviously, but I've tried to be like nice. He needs to go. Right now he's a problem, and Silatolu needs to be off this team. Carlton following up saying go to the stadium tomorrow. Feels good to start 1-0. Ron Toney feels great to beat the Crybabies, and that's the other disappointing part. There were a lot of Cowboys fans in the stadium today, but hey, they're also leaving upset, so that's good. A lot of 1-0s. Yep. Williams back way too early, and we kind of said it leading up in our preview for this game. I would have been surprised the way the Panthers normally handle injuries if he came back. This was really just a nasty shot to a bad knee, though, because he was looking fine.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just I think that.
At the time of where we're at in the game, and it got chippy a little bit. But I think the player saw the brace, saw what he could do, and took advantage of it. And I honestly wish I could slap the hell out of that player.
That guy. Yeah,
and I don't even know who it was. I didn't see
the number. That was that's what Aaron Pine here is saying. Olsen's not as big of a loss as Darrell Williams is, and that's just it. Darrell Williams is a key loss. We thought we were getting him back. It was a bonus. I'd be surprised to see him back anytime soon now. But let's see, rolling on. Joseph Andrews talking about the offense looks stale. We drafted DJ first round and didn't include him enough. Well, let's talk about that offense a little bit. Cam Newton finishing today 17 of 26, 161 yards, 13 carries, 58 yards, and a touchdown. I mean, solid numbers, I guess, 161 yards. You'd like to see the passing end of that improve, but as we said before, this offense is a work in progress right now.
Yep.
A lot of new pieces, new coordinator. It could take a few weeks to get going. Hopefully that's the case. But Cam was doing his thing early running the football.
Yes.
Big. I mean, I know some people are like, we need to not run Cam as much. I disagree. That's part of the dynamic ability he brings and keeps defenses off balance. And I'm fine with running him. The guy is 6'6", 240 pounds. I mean, let him do his thing. Now he's got to know to run smart.
Yes, no head dives landed on top of the helmet like he did in preseason. But today he did. Another person we saw run smart today was Anderson. We finally saw him, break out in what we wanted to see through preseason that we didn't get a chance to.
Yes, indeed, we did. Where is this? You got his stats pulled up?
I'm having some technical difficulties with the computer right now. So.
No, I got him right here. C.J. Anderson, 7 rushes, 35 yards. And then, and like you said, he did look much better than anything we had seen in the preseason. Actually got a relatively much more looks today than we've seen all of preseason. So maybe the Panthers were just kind of keeping him at bay, waiting for the regular season. But he also started good, and they were kind of going with the hot hand. CMC had to fumble early. So all that kind of plays a factor, I guess.
And maybe that's why we saw it toned down for McCaffrey, because it wasn't what we saw in preseason at all.
Nope.
After that fumble, he wasn't used as much as he was in any of the preseason games.
Yeah, and then McCaffrey rushing 10 rushes for 50 yards, a 5-yard per carry average. I saw some people saying that they didn't really want to keep seeing him between the tackles. He averaged 5 yards a carry. I mean, that's pretty solid. It's about as, anybody would take that running back wise, those average numbers per carry. And then receiving, again, McCaffrey picking up where he left off last year, leading receiver on the team, 6 catches, 45 yards. Versatility.
Yeah.
I mean, just bringing everything to the table there. And then after McCaffrey, it was Devin Funchess with 3 catches, 41 yards, and Olsen with 2 catches, 33 yards before he exited. Jarius Wright, crazy third down conversion on that catch. Falling down backwards and that guy coming over top of him. Really bringing those, moving the chains, things we talked about. We've talked about it. That's what I love to see. And see, Torrey Smith had a catch for 15 yards, and Ian Thomas 2 for 4. Like I said, he had a couple in there as well. But overall, not a whole lot out of DJ Moore. I mean, the guy was just commenting on it. We didn't see a whole lot of him out of preseason. I don't expect him to come in here and drop 100-yard games, Unfortunately, because he is a first-round pick, you'd like to see that. But none of that. Armagh did have a touchdown today.
I called that one. I said, I think, they brought him into the game. I said, fullback up the middle, and we got the touchdown. It was nice to see Armagh get some love in the end zone.
Yep. Good to see. We're going to go ahead and start opening the phone lines for anybody that might want to call in and give their thoughts on what they saw today. As soon as I can find that thing. Where's it at? There it is. There's a number right there up top. Boop, boop, boop. Call live. Call that number. Jump on the show. Discuss with us if you'd like. We'd love to have you up here. Talk a little bit of Panthers football along with the comment section. Y'all can keep dropping in the comments too if you'd like. Dante Ames commenting on Facebook, 5 per carry is good. Yes, it is. Nudie. If Cam doesn't run, he won't play well passing. If he's not running, he's not having fun and gets in his own head. I completely agree. And honestly, I've seen a couple people say run Cam on a read option the first play of the game just to get him going. And you don't want to be predictable to know the first play every time. But I agree. When he gets in his element, in his zone, and gets pumped, his swag is coming from running the football and, picking up those yards. So I agree with Nudie there.
I like the triple option we saw today.
Oh, beautiful.
Yes.
I talked about it last year. I'm a huge fan of the triple option. Got to use it more. Got to incorporate it more. Williams looked bad from first possession. He just wasn't moving good. He should have come out then. And we're going to talk. We'll go ahead and talk a little bit about the Cowboys. A little bit more about the Cowboys off defense. We talked about the Woozy kid and stuff. Didn't see a whole lot there, but DeMarcus Lawrence obviously caused the problem throughout the whole game. He was constantly, getting into the backfield, but overall they contained him early until the injuries piled up, and that's when it really became an issue. But the Panthers' defense today was stifling up until the fourth quarter, right?
Yeah, and the Panthers, I said, man, we haven't heard Pepper's name. We haven't seen pressure from the ends at all today. But when it came down to it, they destroyed the offensive line of Dallas and got that pressure to end the game. Yep.
And that's really the thing, because when they went into the fourth quarter with about 10 minutes left, up 2 scores, you started seeing that conservative defense again. And it's like, here we go. When will we wait to save the conservative stuff? You're doing it with 5 minutes left, up 2 touchdowns, fine with it. I understand you're trying to grind the clock out and make them move the ball, move the clock, and obviously try to get the stop while playing cushion and avoid the deep plays and quick attacks. But when your defense has been swarming and dominating all game, I just don't understand why you would move away from that so early. And it showed. They came down and scored 2-point conversion.
I guess they don't want to. Maybe it's the in their head that they don't want to give that big, huge play and just momentum and the air be gone out of the sails for us. So, we let them have the stuff over the middle, but that stuff kills us in the end.
Yeah.
And it's something we become accustomed to, that we get a lead and we can't keep it in the fourth quarter, and it gives you a heart attack for 10 minutes.
Yeah, it was definitely cardiac cats back
yeah.
as always. Mitchell saying we have a serious O-line issue, and the defense started to feed off of that. Yeah, look, as soon as Silatolu came in the game, I can guarantee Lawrence was licking his chops, and it was, they started getting beat on stunts. Silatolu was giving up the rush off the edge. It got bad. But back, if you remember our preview, Billy, I made a prediction about Ezekiel Elliott. I said that the Panthers' defense would hold him under 75 yards, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Well, he finished with 15 rushes for 69 yards and a touchdown. He did have the touchdown late when the defense was kind of letting up a little bit, we just talked about. But we talked about it. It's the winning formula if you want to beat the Cowboys right now. Ezekiel Elliott is the number one thing. And the Panthers' front seven, obviously one of the top, if not the best in the league, is great at stopping these guys. and they did it with Ezekiel Elliott today. Dak Prescott also added 5 for 19 yards for any that matters. Cole Beasley was a problem. That's what you were kind of hitting on.
Yeah, Cole Beasley underneath is always going to be a problem for everybody. He's fast, he's shifty, but we're 1-0.
Yep. Verdell Bryant, man, our defense is the true top 3 of the league. I agree. If hopefully, obviously, Luke was back in the game, so that doesn't seem too serious of an issue right now. But man, that defense looks so good. Kwan Short, 2 sacks today. Peppers nearly came up with one at the end. It seemed like Peppers was out of the game a lot today.
Yeah,
it wasn't injury related.
When you said he's on a rotation, I started watching. He wasn't in a lot. I would like to see more, but he's old. He's older.
Yeah.
And he didn't play in the preseason. So maybe it's just getting him conditioned for the game and saving him.
Yeah, Wes Horton got a lot of rotation. I think we got a phone call, Billy.
Call from
Willie.
To accept, press 1. To send a voicemail,
accept it.
press 2. To accept.
Hello, you're on Panther Source.
Hey,
what's
do
up?
not know why they put that Amini Silatolu in that left tackle spot like he was going to do something. I don't understand. Like, they could have put anybody. Like, there's got to be somebody.
Yeah. Yeah, man, that's what I'm saying. And what was your name?
Willie.
Willie? Yeah, Willie, I completely agree. As we were hitting on it earlier, it really makes no sense. I mean, he is like Cameron Jordan called Matt Khalil last year a speed bump. If Matt Khalil's a speed bump, what is Amini Silatolu?
He's one of those big speed bumps.
Byron Bell, man.
Byron Bell. Oh, I think Byron Bell is much better than Silatolu, and that's bad.
No way. They both garbage.
Yeah, man, that Silatolu is not good. Like I said, at this point, he's a body, and he's just in the way of potentially somebody else helping on that depth chart. We traded for Corey Robinson from the Lions. I'm really hoping to see him in come next week, and maybe that's why he wasn't there today. Not sure, but yeah, Silatolu could definitely be an issue moving forward.
And after what we saw today from Silatolu, I don't think we'll see him next week.
You can't, right?
It's not.
No way. It's not possible.
If you have any football IQ, you can't do it.
Yeah, and a head coach in the NFL, I would hope would have that.
Yeah.
Yep. Willie, you got anything else for us?
Yeah, that's my only gripe about the game. I'm cool with everything else except that left tackle situation. But yeah, thanks, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for the call, buddy. Appreciate Willie calling in. Y'all go ahead and call in. Again, the number is right here, 704-665-0489 if you want to chime in on the game. But yeah, that's definitely going to be an issue. Kind of going back to the Cowboys offense side of the ball we were talking about, and the Panthers defense obviously was getting to the quarterback all game. It's great. But we talked about the receivers. We were kind of hitting on Cole Beasley. Those slot receivers of what we were worried about this season. It's always been a problem, especially those. I mean, they're kind of really a problem for every team just about, but especially when you start giving up that prevent defense and whatnot and driving down the field. Really just kind of disappointing to see that late in the game, but hopefully all that changes, and we're hoping to see that right tackle thing change as well. Hitting y'all's comments on Facebook right quick. Wesley, I think with Tommy and Thomas has the raw talent to be special, just needs more time. I agree. That's Billy and I actually hit on it when we saw Greg not coming back in. We're like, good thing we drafted Ian Thomas, and he's kind of turning out to be something.
I was in the kitchen. I said, Ian Thomas, showtime.
Yep.
He's going to do fine. And of course, when Silatolu came in, they put him in there, and he becomes a good blocker. So we're not hurting with Olsen leaving.
Not at all. Wes again saying he liked the way Norv also called the game. Glad he didn't completely hold Cam back, and I am as well. They said it all offseason that Norv was going to keep the read options. They did. The triple option is a thing of beauty. I was actually saying during the game, I'd like to see the average yard per play stat when the Panthers run a triple option backfield, because I would bet it's pretty high. It seems like it always works pretty well, but you can't run it every play, obviously. This isn't Georgia Tech. And Dante Ames, maybe it's just me, but I swear our D-line is the most held ever. Oh, yeah. Well, they're disruptive, man, and they were very disruptive today. KK interior pressure was through the roof. We hit on it. the backup center that was in for the Cowboys, it was going to be a problem.
Yeah, and it showed. I mean, from the get-go, we had pressure in the backfield, and Dak can't stand in the pocket. He has to roll out, but we were containing him. We did a really good job containing him and not letting him loose and run all over us also.
And I was waiting on these comments to pop in, too, because I wanted to hit on it, and I actually forgot about it while we were talking about the defense. Captain Munnerlyn. I think I'm going to have to change his name to Private Munnerlyn because he has not looked good. He got on Twitter kind of blabbing about people freaking out on him in preseason, and it was like every time Beasley was open, Munnerlyn was the closest defender. Now, granted, we play zone, and there was a couple times he was playing zone, but he got completely carried. Beasley would cut back in, and he had his eyes on the quarterback, which in zone is kind of understandable.
Yeah.
And Beasley just sit right there, wide open, pick up gains, and I mean, that's becoming pretty much an issue. I'd like to see maybe Corn get some rotation. I didn't really Corn. I can hardly ever say that with a straight face. Corn Elder get some rotation, but I just didn't see him get rotated out at all today. And last year, Cap was kind of complaining about playing time after coming back. Well,
now he got unlimited playing time, and he didn't really show us a lot. The only upside to his game today was
the fumble recovery.
The fumble recovery at the end of the game.
Yeah, that's right. Mario Addison with the strip sack, which, guys, if you play Madden 19, Mario Addison is a baller in that game in Madden 19 edition. And that strip sack is something regular when I play with him. I'm just saying. Not when I control him, just him in the computer. It's beautiful. I love it. That's Kyle chiming in on Facebook there. Captain Munnerlyn was the worst problem on defense today. I only saw big gains from his defense. I mean, I can't deny that, especially when we kind of went to the prevent. That's kind of a whole thing we were talking about earlier, but it doesn't look good when it's you constantly on a stat sheet. Dante Jackson had a great game today, the rookie cornerback. All over the guys. I know he got called for one pass interference penalty, but I thought it was kind of ticky-tack.
Yeah, it was ticky-tack. I didn't agree with it. But he's game one, I'm down. Like, he's good.
Yeah. Chauncey Ellerby, D-Law with the dirty play on Darrell Williams. Go back and watch how he forced his shoulder into Darrell Williams, then blamed our tight end. There you go. That's who it was, DeMarcus Lawrence. Billy was hitting on that early, Chauncey. And he had a point.
I don't get on Twitter. I might have to get on Twitter tonight.
You need to get on Twitter. Tweet D-Law. Ice White Ice Roseman on YouTube chat. Moten was solid. I felt so too. I think he had a hold on one play, but we talked about. We like him there, and it's just going to take him get more reps. The more reps he gets, he's a smart, versatile offensive lineman. I think he'll get better with time. I was interested to see if they were going to move him to the right side, and then I saw Bill Voth tweet that CeeLo Tolu was coming in the game at right tackle, and I was hoping it was a Bill Voth troll, but unfortunately it was not. That was real life. Colin Jones is not a good safety. Philip Mast on YouTube. He's not great, but again, he's mainly there, and he's named one of the captains this year for the Panthers. And he's been there. He's kind of earned that, I guess. And he's a hell of a special teams player. But he shows flashes, but he's just not a consistent safety is my issue. And then going back to Facebook here. Put Elder in for Munnerlyn, Dante Ames, I agree. Nudie saying, don't get me started on Munnerlyn. Nudie's been on that train the whole preseason. I know he's been commenting in for a while on that. Like the way we held Elliott as a whole. This front seven can't talk on it enough. The defense as a whole really right now looked great today outside of that last where they got conservative. Probably could have held them to 0 or at least a field goal the whole game had they not done that conservative stuff. Moten was a big upgrade over Matt Khalil. And maybe that's something, I don't know how much experience Matt Khalil has at right tackle, but if he comes back, maybe that's something he can be depth there and compete for. Maybe a change of scene will do him good.
Maybe. I mean, something so he can earn $55 million.
Yeah, really. No kidding. You don't want $55 million just sitting on the bench, but it is what it is sometimes. Yeah. And, we talk, Matt Khalil has his issues, but we've said it before too. You could be much worse.
Oh, yes.
You could do much worse. He gives up bad ones every now and then, but he's still not the worst. He's not a mini CeeLo Tolu.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And the Corey Robinson guy I talked about at right tackle. Y'all, don't forget you can call in right here. It's 704-665-0489. You can call in, talk to us about the show. Or about the game and speak on anything you like. But Corey Robinson, the guy that came in, also is a 6'7", like 315-pound guy. I talked about how he looked vulnerable against speed rushes. That may have been why they didn't really want him in against D-Law, but again, I'm going to say it again.
Better than Silatolu.
Billy could have been in there blocking better, just get in the way. I mean, that's all Silatolu could really do.
I can go in there and be a speed bump.
Our buddy Duncan in here saying he wants to throw up. He's a Cowboys fan. Well, I told y'all the Cowboys didn't have a shot at beating the Panthers. They got it late because of the offensive line and Silatolu. But I felt like they were going to dominate Ezekiel Elliott. They didn't really have anybody but Cole Beasley to pass to all game. So Wes Lale put him in as Darrell Williams' replacement, Matt Cleo. I agree. Hey, I'm not opposed to that.
And do you think now the big thing in the news with the Cowboys has been they let Bailey go? You think that's a huge hit to the team when they let Bailey go? They let a guy come in.
Wasn't that hilarious?
That hasn't kicked a field goal until preseason.
Trying to save $3.5 million
and misses his field goal.
Over $3.5 million.
That's got to be like that. If I was on that team, I would be devastated.
Dan Bailey's laughing somewhere, and I still don't think he has a job right now, but he's laughing somewhere. That was pretty bad, and it was raining. It was raining at the time, but still, it was a makeable. It wasn't like it was a 55-yard or anything. So that was pretty funny. Ice White Ice commenting on YouTube Live again. Mike Adams played a good game, carrying over from the preseason. Yes, I completely agree. He's made some huge plays. Got a big open field tackle on Ezekiel Elliott on a little swing pass that saved a third down conversion. That was great. I'm loving him. It kind of scared me when he came up favoring that shoulder a little bit. Ended up coming back in. So that was good. I'm enjoying him. I'm feeling like this secondary can really take a step this year. Safety outside of Mike Adams is still a little bit questionable. Seriously, nobody really got beat deep today.
Yep.
So that was good. And Dak Prescott helped out on a couple throws.
Yeah, he got some accuracy issues for sure. And that will help us a lot when the quarterback is not as good. Dak can run and open the field up with his feet. But if he wants to sit back there, he doesn't have the accuracy and the distance that the quarterbacks that we're going to be playing in our division have.
Yeah, I agree, and that's kind of what worries me about the Silatolu situation. Is the division is it'll come up quick, it'll be here before you know it, and you got Vic Beasley, and the Bucks. We'll talk about that in a minute. Holy shit, the Bucks today. Actually, let's talk about that right now. In case you missed, I don't even know what was the final score. 48-40, which, wow,
highest scoring Week 1 total score in NFL history.
88 total points.
Yep.
Oh my goodness, dude, that game shocked me. Winning in New Orleans without Jameis is kind of here or there because Fitzpatrick is still a solid NFL quarterback, but man, he was delivering today for them. So Saints starting out 0-1 after having a great defense last year, looking a little suspect Week 1. Obviously, Tampa Bay still was, but it's New Orleans, Drew Brees, Alvin Kamara.
And the Saints, the defense is what they were known for.
Yeah.
And
coming into this year.
And I don't know what happened. Like, when that's, we were like, oh, the Saints are winning, and the next thing you look, the Bucks are up 14. You're like, what the hell?
It's
crazy.
It's
Fitzpatrick. If Fitzpatrick keeps that up, Winston might be sitting the bench.
Yes, exactly. That's what I was saying today.
Yeah.
I feel like Winston could be on the trading block before this season is over and be gone. Not that they're going to keep Fitz as their, long-term QB, but maybe look towards, if he's winning, obviously, he's still going to keep the job if he's doing what he did today. Wow. But looking like a vintage first when he put his name on the map out of Harvard, of all places.
Yeah, I was looking at the stats earlier. He had 2 receivers that had over 150 yards.
Today?
One had like 156, and I think
Deshaun Jackson had
156, and
Mike Evans
had 170 something.
That's ridiculous.
Like that. Yes.
I just can't believe that came against that secondary that did so well last year in New Orleans. So hopefully that's something we can look forward to when we play New Orleans. Next week we have Atlanta, who also didn't look great against the Eagles. I mean, they moved the ball early, but for some reason, Steve Sarkisian, their offensive coordinator, loves not throwing to Julio Jones in the red zone.
He's probably drinking again.
Yeah, well, I hope whatever he's doing, I hope he's doing it when we play him because I don't want him throwing to Julio in the red zone. I hope he keeps up whatever he's doing. And then Matt Ryan just looked awful. Yeah. Terrible. But, hey.
That was a very boring Thursday night game.
He's better than Cam. But back to some Panthers stuff. We're talking about Dak Prescott, 19 of 29, 170 yards. Really, finished a few yards more than Cam, but had to throw a lot towards the end of the game to get back in it. And the Panthers defense, again, really played well outside of that last quarter, going into that conservative defense. Checking y'all's comments again right here on Facebook Live. I'm going to scroll back up for a second here. It's the first game of the year, but our D is sick, fellas, all the way around. Damian Fora on Facebook. I agree. Monica Hillian from the Facebook group Panther Pride, Panther Growl. It's like a tongue twister for me, Monica. Will we ever have a true number one wide receiver? Well, look, I said, we were talking about this in the preseason. We said going into it, this is Cam spreads the ball when he has weapons, and you kind of saw that again today. That's what he did in 2015. He was hitting multiple targets. I don't really care if we're winning and Cam's spreading and playing well and we have the weapons that are doing the work. I don't care if we really have like a true big-time 120-yard game wide receiver. I mean, yeah, that'd be great. I'd love to have a Steve Smith caliber in his prime again. Yep. But if it's working, I'm fine.
Tons of teams have those real wide receiver ones, and they don't win.
Yep.
I mean, yeah, sure, it's nice on the stat sheet, but I want to win.
Exactly. You have DeAndre Hopkins out in Houston is one of the best wide receivers in the league, one of the more underrated ones, but he's on a bad team really right now. I mean, they lost today as well. So I'm fine with it as long as we're spreading the love. And if you're going 15-1 and making a Super Bowl without a 1,000-yard receiver, I don't think anybody's going to complain on the team.
I'm fine with it.
Yeah. Kenneth saying next week he got Atlanta. Mike saying Winston lost his job. Mike Strib up here on Facebook Live. Heather Pennington saying, hell yeah, way to go, Bucks. Had a lot of Bucks fans today pulling against the Saints. Did Olsen injure the same foot as it broke in Russ Leachoff? Yes, he did. I don't know if it's broken. I would assume it's maybe a fracture. He's in a boot, something torn. I'm not sure. I haven't seen the report yet. But it is definitely his same foot from last year. So Heather Pennington saying she hates the Saints. We're getting crab leg jokes. Natasha Crawford, Matt Khalil needs to at least clean equipment and provide foot massages till he can play again to earn that free money. Still wondering how the hell the Dolphins sacked Cam before Khalil's knee injury. Yeah, I don't know, but the first person up for a foot massage may be Greg Olsen. It's not funny, but because we really need Greg back out there. Luke will cut that leg off and be back there next week. Kevin Willis.
And he would. And that was not the only. There was earlier in the game, there was another injury scare with him. Of course, he didn't come off the field, but he obviously was in some pain, which it happens with him every game. He gives you that, oh, crap.
Who's that?
Luke.
Yeah.
It was down there in the end zone. He came back and he did fine. Hopefully the knee is something that it was just a freak out that, it didn't look good.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully it's not something that will cause pain long term or that will be sore in a day that he won't be able to walk on.
Nudie asking if thought Mayo held up well. I thought he did fine in place of Thomas Davis today in the reps he had, and then I think he actually had to switch over for Luke when he went out a little bit. You didn't hear his name getting called, and we talk about it all the time. If you're on defense and you play coverage for the most part, obviously he plays the run game too. We know he can attack the run and eat up running backs, but didn't hear his name getting burned a lot today, so it's fine in my book. I haven't, I can only go off what I've seen. I haven't gone back and watched the game again yet, so I'll know more on that. But I think the defense as a whole did really good today, outside of the conservative part, which isn't really their fault all the time. Eric Washington was dropping back DTs and pass coverage from time to time. Yes, he was, Dante. I was actually tweeting about that on Twitter today. Tweeting on Twitter. That's always fun to say. But he was. Kawan Short was dropping back the QB spy a lot today on Dak Prescott. And then also Dontari Poe, the big fella, was getting dropped back in coverage a little bit for that. So that was interesting to watch. Two of the bigger guys. And it actually worked out. Poe forced Dak out on a couple of scrambles out of bounds for one or no gain at all. So kind of worked. Not mad about it. And then KK, obviously Kawan Short, just 2 sacks, ate it up. 3 weeks until TD's back. Goat, Brian Weathersby. Yep. Bird proved why he is part of the 53. Yes, he did. Good special teams gave why he was in there.
Yeah.
Let's check YouTube right quick. Y'all don't forget you can if you're watching on YouTube, first of all, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. We're building that one up as well. I see we got some people watching that pretty good now. And also if you're on Facebook Live, go ahead and keep the comments coming and this discussion going. But go ahead and like and follow us as well because we do previews, we do this post game show. And we have all the kinds of stuff we like to talk about. This is what we do. We just want to talk with Panther fans about Panthers football, give our opinions, and give out your opinions, giving black and blue a voice. Jumping up here, Philip Mast, gonna have to answer for these angry, or we're in trouble against the Falcons. I don't understand that one. Hope if the offensive line, we can figure out the right tackle spot against the Falcons. Hopefully, it's Corey Robinson. I mean, we've said it enough on the show already, but I think that's what Philip's referring to, because Vic Beasley will be a monster as well, speed off the edge. Ice Roseman, don't want a number one receiver. Most Super Bowl teams have committees. That's exactly right. Tom Brady has had one number one receiver, really true one number one receiver his whole career, and it was Randy Moss on their incredible undefeated year that they lost in the Super Bowl. But I can tell you, he'd much rather have that Super Bowl and be on a committee like he normally is. I mean, now obviously he's got Gronk. But I mean, what can you do with him? Another big day from him.
Yeah.
Billy, do you have fantasy points pulled up by any chance?
I do not.
Can you,
I will look at our notes. I don't have numbers, but I looked at it earlier. We had some over-unders that we were going to talk about.
Yes.
Cam went over. We both chose that.
Yeah, we chose Cam going over.
Dak for his points went under. We chose that. CMC, I don't remember.
I think he was 18 point. He was projected 18.4, and I don't think he got that. I picked over. I think you said under.
Under. I said under. You said over. Yeah.
He got 10.5 points today.
Yeah.
Oof, yeah. I had thought he got more with 50 rush yards. He didn't get a touchdown though. That's kind of the difference. Funchess went on. He had to have gone under.
Gone under. Yeah. He 3 catches for 40-something yards. I think it was.
Yep.
So.
Jason Cunningham, bring back Smitty one more year. Hey, look, I'm not sure about McCaffrey. Michael Mendez, game ball went to the owner, Mr. Tepper. If you had to give the game ball to a player today, who was your choice? Yeah, we haven't done our player of the game pick, really, but I don't know. I'd give it
player of the game.
One player. I'd probably give it to the defense as a whole. The offense, still trying to get in a rhythm right now. They should have scored more the opportunities they were given.
Yeah, the defense. I would have to give it to the defense as a whole. If I was to pick a player, you could just go with Luke. I mean,
Luke, yeah,
he's all over the place.
Yeah,
there's no one that stands out on the field and on the defensive side of the ball like him.
Yeah, Lucas. It's just crazy. Monica's saying Luke as well. Cam, TD, and rushing yards, and that's a good point. Cam was effective on the ground today and was smart. No interceptions. And you asked me in the preview, did I think he'd have a clean game? Yeah, no picks. He didn't fumble. That's what we want to see.
And then I jinxed McCaffrey because we spoke of fumbles on the pre-show.
Yeah.
And then he fumbles.
Way to go.
We're in the red zone.
Yeah, there on the first drive. Way to go, Billy. We're blaming you for that. And Ken Duncombe saying he'd give it to Shaq, and Nudie saying Addison, because Addison did seal the game with that clutch sack at the end.
Yeah.
So that's a fair one as well. Mike Strib wants to see C.J. Anderson fed more. And it's hard to argue with that. I'd like to see more of CMC and Anderson on the field at the same time.
I think it would be nice. A couple of misdirection plays and confusion, because at the beginning you could tell that they game planned for CMC.
Yep.
Every time,
especially on the read option.
Yeah, on the read option, it was like they would bite on him every time, and Cam would just eat him up.
Yep.
So to have two backs in the backfield, I think would be great. What I didn't like today, it was, I think in the first quarter they had McCaffrey as a wide receiver.
Yeah.
Play,
the screen.
It didn't work.
That's a pretty predictable. Like, that's one I always looked for last year, and that's definitely one they used last year. So with Mike Schuler running the offense, screens have never, just for some reason, not really worked. Now they have been with CMC out of the backfield. Obviously they had that big conversion on one today, got a big gain out of it. But McCaffrey in the wide receiver screen, that didn't work at all to start the game. But I like the aggressiveness early of not just a simple run up the middle. That's nice to see. Don't forget, we will have Samuel coming back soon too. Yes, and this is it. I'm glad, Nudie. I saw Chuck Smith also saying on Facebook Live he missed Samuel today. Yes, I can't wait to see him back in there. Hopefully get some reps and targets, because he's really the only one that's really been able to get a lot of separation. Averaged like 18.5 yards per catch this preseason. Billy and I are big fans. I know a lot of you other Panther fans are, so hopefully he gets back in. Let's see. Kelly Burleson both just tweeted Khalil played with a bad fever today. And he had a couple rough goes of it up the middle today. I know he got held for a holding penalty as well at one point today. It was a face mask.
Face mask,
that's what it was. Yep. Yep. That's YouTube Live. Okay. So yeah, Anthony House coming in, fun, dropped a few, but when we needed in those last drives, he came through. And yeah, Cam was really threading the needle to some of those passes. Those windows were extremely small. Michael Mendez, yes, CMC and CJ together. I think that can help out both in the running game. I do too. The defense can't prepare for it. Obviously, I mean, it's working with Cam and CMC on the read option. They were focused early on just stop McCaffrey and let somebody else beat us on this team if that's how we're going to chance it. And it was working because Cam was beating. You can't forget about Cam Newton.
Oh yeah.
So put them each on one side, and it also gives you extra pass protection. But we'll see. I'm sure there'll be more of it. Ken saying when Samuel's back, he thinks it's going to be good too. I want to talk about Greg Olsen a little bit more right now with his injuries piling up. Obviously there was a lot of talk heading into last season at training camp about an extension with Marty Hurney coming in, and they ultimately ended up giving him incentive deal, which was smart. I was against giving him a new contract. I love Greg to death. I love what he does for the community. Obviously, he's one of the best tight ends to ever play the game. A hell of a player, hell of a guy. But business-wise, he had 2 years left on his contract. We didn't need to spend money in the cap. And Marty Hurney gives him the incentive deal. 2017, he actually ends up getting injured with the foot and doesn't even play half the season.
Yep.
So that ended up being a good call. Now with this injury, he's going to miss weeks. Obviously, he's in a boot. Is this something we need to potentially look at as he won't be re-signed in Carolina when his contract's up?
At this point, and we don't know what the injury is. We don't know if it's the same thing.
So
but
this is all kind of bad speculation.
If we speculate, we say it's the same thing as last year, which put him on IR.
Right.
2 years in a row, you injured the same foot. Maybe it's just time for him, he'll be done.
Yeah, and we talked. You kind of hit on this in the preseason, saying, especially if they make it to the Super Bowl, have another great run, that this Olsen may just decide, to retire.
Yep.
I don't know, and that's obviously now with the injuries piling up and the foot being a problem. And I said this last year: foot injuries are some of the worst that athletes can have because they linger.
Yep.
It's always hard to get a 100% pain free out of it, and then obviously the re-injury pops up. Y'all be sure to call live now if you want to discuss the game. 704-665-0489 is the number. Go ahead.
And the crazy thing about the injury is it wasn't a rolled ankle. It wasn't his foot stepped on. He stepped on somebody else. That's all. It didn't even look that bad. So those bones are super fragile in your foot once they're injured. Honestly, the incentive deal is great because we aren't going to pay any of it. With him missing so much time.
Right.
And
I hate that he's missing the time. I'd rather pay him.
I'd rather pay him. He's earned it. I'd rather pay him those incentives. But it's going to save us the money. And we've drafted Ian Thomas, who has shown he can be a great tight end. And I just don't see Olsen wanting to go anywhere else after being here. I honestly don't.
I mean, all that depends on where he's at and whether he feels comfortable. I know he's what is it? He's in his mid-30s.
He's
have to look
7 years.
Yeah, he's been here for a while. I'll look that up right quick. But I think his contract, I can't remember when his contract's up either. I didn't really plan to bring this up.
Yeah.
I was thinking about it while we were talking about him. He is 33 years old.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just thought it was interesting if it's something, they just drafted Ian Thomas. He's shown his flashes. I think he's going to be the next guy behind Greg. I just thought it would be interesting to talk about. I saw a comment that caught my eye here on Facebook. It was Natasha Crawford. Was anybody else surprised to see Cam rushing as much as he did today in the first half? In the first half, well, he did on that first drive we talked about. It was a lot of read option plays, and when they're giving Cam the wide open lane like they were, he's going to take it. 13 carries was probably a little bit more than I would have really guessed, but like I said before, I'm not against it at all. I'm a big fan of that.
He can run. He's big. It takes a lot to tackle him, and it's smart. We have Cam use his ability, and his ability is his feet once he gets out of the pocket. I'm not against it. I was surprised it was as many, but it's also coming off option plays.
Yep.
He's reading the
defensive end. Yep. If the guy is taking the running back like they were with CMC, the defensive end takes the running back to Cam's left or opposite side, whichever way CMC's running. If he's going for CMC to make the tackle, Cam's keeping him running and taking that open lane. If he stays, Cam's handing it off. That's how these read options work. just in case anybody out there didn't
Yeah.
know. It's kind of simple. And that's what they were giving Cam, and he's going to take it. It's like you said, he's a big guy. He can handle his own. He runs smart. So, I mean, I like seeing it. I think Cam knows how to run smart. Obviously, he has near the goal line, he has a tendency to like to Superman people and jump. But, hey, he's getting a touchdown, and it's worked out fine for him.
And we have the ability not to risk that injury with him doing those over the lines and going up in the air. I mean, we have a fullback, great fullback. We have CMC who can run the tackles. We can put it outside to CMC. We have Anderson, who's a big guy that he can get that 1 or 2 yards.
Mm-hmm.
So at the goal line, I wouldn't want to see it as much, because we have the ability. But with the read options, I'm fine with how much he runs.
Yeah, when Armah actually got that touchdown, and you said something about it. You said, I see this one going to Armah here, and I actually said, because it was right at the 1 yard line, and I was like, I just think at the 1 yard line, you let Cam sneak it in every time. I want that. I don't think you take the chance of, when you go to hand that ball off, you're losing 3 yards, essentially, when you hand it at the handoff point. So I just like the idea of Cam full steam ahead. That play works 90, I'll say 95. I was going to say 99, but I'll say 95% of the time. But, yeah, it is kind of risky injury-wise. And it did work out for Armah when they rushed it. And then you have the option of a fullback fake and a toss to CMC or something. So you got the weapons there now.
Yep.
As long as they're scoring, I'm fine with it. But our issue has been having to settle for field goals because of not converting touchdowns.
Yep.
I just want to see him get in the.
I would like to the offense going back. Talking as a whole, I thought that 16 points was a little low today.
Yeah,
that's what I will say. Is
Yeah.
I thought that we did get a little stale, and I think that the offense should have scored more points.
Oh,
today.
absolutely. They had plenty of opportunity. Our prediction, I remember mine was 24-10, and I didn't feel like the Cowboys would score over 10 on our defense, and they didn't. And I felt like the Panthers' offense would kick a couple of field goals, and they were driving, but they get stopped about midfield a lot today, just before that field goal range, so that kind of hurt that. And then obviously the botched extra point thanks to Sila Tolu. That's just disappointing. But anyway, I saw a question on YouTube here, YouTube Live. Ice Roseman, do y'all think the offensive play calling was horrible? I expected more of different calls, but it looked like Shula 2.0. Greg might need to go to the booth. I mean, what did you? I
didn't feel that way.
mean, you saw some similarities, but I thought there was a lot of the guys motioning, some misdirection plays.
Yeah, there was that, but it wasn't screenplay,
Run.
3rd and 14, run up the middle. I didn't feel like I was watching the same offensive coordinator call the plays.
Yeah, and I think, I really like the fact with Norv, he was putting C.J. Anderson when he was in the game and running him. He was putting him in a power formation, like Cam under center, not just out of the shotgun like we've tried in the past with Jonathan Stewart, with Shula. And that's a big difference. You have Armah leading blocking there. You saw a lot of the jumbo packages with 2 tight end sets, Hurts and Ian Thomas in there. And the play actions work. It still baffles me that when Cam bootlegs, it's third and 2. Cam lines up under the center. You got 2 running backs. He fakes the handoff, play action bootleg, and he always has that side wide open.
Yeah.
What? I just don't understand as a defense. I'm like, they're trying to take away CMC early, but on that play, I've got a guy, and his job, I'm telling him, you were following Cam Newton. I don't care where the play goes. If I catch you on film and you're following the running back anywhere, even after he has the ball, and you're not on Cam Newton's ass, you're out next week.
Yeah.
I just don't understand why. Like, I love it. Don't get me wrong. It works, so keeps it up. I hope nobody catches on, but I just don't understand. You're in the NFL. I feel like people at this point should know that. But, hey, whatever. Keep doing that thing. Jordan Price, how do y'all feel Cam played? I mean, I think he did well. He could have done better. Obviously, we sound like Ron Rivera here today. Missed opportunities.
Yeah, he had some high balls.
Yes. His deep ball was a little off today.
Yeah, his deep ball was a little off.
He had CMC one.
When he hit Greg in the middle, wide open, Greg made a miraculous catch because that was a super high ball. So Cam Newton always throws high. He had that issue today. But I think he played. I give him a A- for today.
A-. Oh, that's nice. I mean, it was really kind of that grounded out conservative play calling. I mean, it wasn't no big deep shots, and he was taking his checkdowns with CMC on when he was getting pressured and stuff. So that's always good to see. Dante, where'd it go? Dante saying he wished Cam would read more man coverage blitzes and audible some hot routes. And this is something I actually, gave Cam credit for coming into this game in our preview. And I actually didn't see that a lot today on some of the blitzes. But it's also towards the end of the game, it was hard to tell because everything looked like a blitz when Amini Silatolu was on the right side.
Yeah, that backfield collapsed so fast after we lost Williams that it didn't matter what you call. Somebody was going to be in the backfield, and there was one play, the whole entire defensive line was in the backfield, and luckily all was a W. We start 1-0.
Yeah,
that's the important part.
Yeah, and we talked about it. We said it and said it and said it and said it. It could take a few weeks for this offense to get it going. Let Curtis Samuel get back and get a few games in. I'll start feeling more and more comfortable about, seeing where we're going and actually making more comments on it. But these are all news pieces. Is still some new play calling going in under Norv Turner. We talked about adjustments a lot. And I see Brian Weathersby's talking about some more on the play calling, and we have been. But how did you feel? Did you really feel like he did a lot of adjustments today in the game? I didn't see.
There was nothing extreme.
Yeah. It was probably just little subtle things. The C.J. Anderson part, I thought he adjusted. When CMC was kind of struggling early and fumbled, he kind of went more to the power running with C.J. Anderson, and it was working. And he kind of stuck with that. Those little things I would say were some adjustments he made going into the second half. But otherwise, I didn't think there was a lot of adjustments that had to be made. It was just the Panthers executing better on some of those things.
And like I said, we played 3 quarters of fine football.
Mm-hmm.
It was a second half of the fourth quarter collapse, and it was due to injury.
Yeah, that's. I was actually telling Billy, I said this is a huge game-changing moment when Silatolu came in. It makes me sick just thinking about if we had to start him at right tackle next week against the Falcons. If Vic Beasley would not just take his lunch and eat it. God, it would be so ugly. I'm gonna check YouTube comments. If nobody else wants to call in, we'll check YouTube comments one more time. Then we're probably gonna get out of here coming up on that hour time.
What did you think of the logo?
That looked good. I mean, we knew it was coming. I just about ripped my damn headset off.
I will tell you the video they released.
Oh my God.
To announce it,
dude.
I was like, all right, I'm gonna build this wall and I'm gonna run through it. Like that was a great video.
It was phenomenal. I had chills. I almost even got teary-eyed. I ain't even gonna lie, because you've been watching this since you were a kid, and that video paid homage to everything that you could ask for with that logo and what it means to Carolina Panther fans everywhere. It was a phenomenal video. It was very well done. David Tepper is the man. He was out there greeting fans today, actually, at the tailgate, the little Panthers on Mint Street festivity. Looked really cool. Some of the Roaring Riot crowd was out there as always. Let's see. Jerome Minor, do you see right tackle being an issue going forward? Is the answer on the roster? I don't know if the answer is on the roster. We haven't seen enough of Corey Robinson. We haven't seen any of them. Yeah. Outside of the little bit he played in Detroit before coming here in that trade. But I don't know. I know it's not a meanie, and I just wish we would move on from him. Go find somebody else. I just want to see him gone. Let's see. Turner played horrible. Carlton Davis. He had some moments, but Trey Turner's still a Pro Bowler. We'll see more about that going forward. I'm not going to hold one game over anybody's head. So, checking Facebook one last time, and then we're going to roll. Charles Ellis saying the video got him teary-eyed as well. Natasha, I don't think Norv showed a lot of his plays this game. He's going to really load them up after the bye week. That's a possibility. New plays are implemented throughout the whole season anyway. Yep. So, and different game plans for different teams. That's really one thing Norv Turner stressed, which is great to hear after dealing with Shuley. I mean, it was kind of the same thing over and over, it felt like. And sometimes that's going to be the case depending on the teams we play back to back. But anyway, guys, thank y'all for tuning in and joining us. It is great to sit here and talk some real. The Panthers are damn it 1-0, and at the end of the day, that's all that freaking matters, Billy.
Would you think at the end of the day that we 1-0 and the Bucks would be over us in the division at 1-0?
No, No. I wouldn't. Oh man, that I can't tell you how happy it made me watching the Bucks just whoop up on the Saints today. But hopefully that's it kind of worries me a little bit, and I think it should anybody just a little bit. I mean, it's only week 1. We kind of hit on that with the Panthers just now, but
48 points is a lot of points.
That's a lot of points. I don't see that happening against our defense. I will say that. I still think we have the best defense in NFC South. The Falcons really took some hits injury-wise their first game after Adam Kaplan of NFL.com got up there on Twitter and was boasting about how the Falcons were the healthiest team going into week 1 with nobody on injury reserve or the PUP list. They were the healthiest team, and they damn near left defensively as the unhealthiest team.
Yeah.
So, anyway, Brian Weathersby saying undefeated. That's right. Right now we're undefeated. Atlanta's next week. Division starts. Let's get it rolling. We will be up here to do our preview probably Wednesday. I think it's typically when we're shooting for. I will keep you posted with the event. Like I said, if you haven't already, like and follow us right here on Facebook. If you're on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. Also, guys, we're on Patreon now. We'll be go ahead and push this a little bit. Patreon.com// Panthers Source. You can donate monthly as little as $2, $5, or $10 a month. Each tier comes with different perks. You can see some behind-the-scenes stuff as we start getting pledges. We will start doing giveaways if we hit $500 a month for a pledge goal per month if we start bringing that in. But most importantly, 40% of everything that is donated goes to charities, whether it be stuff for families, Thanksgiving food, Christmas toys for kids during Christmas, Panthers players charities, Panther charities at all, like the organization charities as a whole. Anything that we can do right here in our community or to give back to Charlotte and the Charlotte community, that's what we want to do. We want to try to help out there, and then also the other money will obviously go to help build up this show. So please, if you would, patreon.com, if you have $2 a month, if every person that viewed this video did like $2 a month, we would be able to about give away, I think it was right near $1,000 a month in charities, which would be a big help for communities and everything else. So, I mean, if you can, great. I know times are hard for some people, but thank you for tuning into the show. We're not going to charge to watch our show. That's not what we're here for, but, we want to be able to make improvements, and we want to be able to help give back as a bonus. So that's always a help. But thank y'all for tuning in. This has been the Panther Source postgame show. I'm Tripp Morgan.
I'm Billy Harless.
Y'all keep pounding. The Panthers are damn it 1-0, and next week we're going for 2-0. But we'll give our predictions on the preview. See y'all soon.